Ryan won the Junior ROTC Southwest Regional this year. It's the first time anybody can ever remember a team getting a perfect score. And they usually win by 30 to 60 seconds or a minute or two. They beat the next team by like 30 minutes. That's how good Just to finish it off, he's on the National Junior Orienteering team. Just came back from competing at West Point last week in the National Championships. I wish I could tell you that he won it all, but he did fantastic while he's back there. And he is going to school next year on a prep school offer from the Air Force Academy, and we should be at the Air Force Academy in a year. So congratulations.
The top female scholar athlete is Rafael Temple.
All right, now I got to tell you a little bit about this lady. She is just a phenomenal athlete. To say she's phenomenal is not giving her enough credit. She's a very accomplished swimmer. She's played tennis at the high school. She's been a star volleyball player for several years. And all of this has basically ended up with her signing just last week a letter of intent to play volleyball at the University of Arizona starting next year. So.
So, every year we have a top athletic award, and great cadets have gotten it for amazing accomplishments. I must admit that very rarely in an ROTC world would a Division I volleyball full scholarship person lose to Nakai Lake. Nakai Lake, come up here please. I am on paper a coach for orienteering. We really have another expert who does everything. But the story I like to tell, even this morning, at 7:30 in the morning, I got an email from one of my fellow coaches in the Valley. And Nakai, who drug along my son Ryan, had not only a perfect score for the Southwestern Regional Championship, but then the next event, there's 23 points that you're supposed to go in the course of 2 hours, very rugged terrain by Lost Dutchman State Park. They got all 23, and it's never happened ever. And so the guys have asked for his actual route that he got back in 1 hour 59 minutes and 22 seconds, and did a perfect score that's going to be trained from here on out in Arizona. It's never happened. So congratulations, you deserve it.
PrescottJROTC Academic Award is presented by Mrs. McCreely. This award is given in honor of Mrs. McCreely, the principal when AFJROTC started at PHS and a great supporter of our program. This award is presented to the cadet with the highest GPA in their class at the end of the third quarter. This award is presented to the following freshman cadet, Aiden Bruce.
Just back up to the flag.
Yeah. This award is presented to the following sophomore cadets: Emma Vino, Alicia Basana, and Kateri Rubler.
Folks, I have to tell you real quick, one of the things that we teach our kids is when you make a mistake, own up to it. I made a mistake. I screwed up the order, and I have to apologize to Cadet Pastana. Her award has not come back yet. So we'll get it to you as soon as we can.
Your award is your heart.
This award is presented to the following junior cadet: Jeremy Fleming. This award is presented to the following senior cadets: Veronica Norcus and Rafael Temple.
I made two
Y'all may sit down.
Go, Big Red.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mrs. Totsi of Crayley, and in August 2006, 10 years ago, she was my principal when we started the junior ROTC. I did not have anyone to work with me. My sergeant was not hired at the time. And actually it was interesting. I had one volunteer that came, showed up and said, hey, if you need me to help you out, I will. And that was Bill DeKemper, 10 years ago, what, 5, 6 years before he was hired. But he was a volunteer from the very beginning. But one of the wise words that she said was, you may think you're a fighter pilot, you may think you've been in the military, you can do a lot of things, but it'll take 5 years to be a teacher in this school. And I must admit, I'm not the sharpest of nuggets. It took me about 7 years to really get this going. So anyway, I'll introduce you to Ms. McCrae.
Thank you. You know, it's always a pleasure to come back. One of the things I miss the most about not being at high school anymore are all of the students. And I have to say a few things about Colonel Peoples. He's being rather modest. He was so forevisioned on getting this unit started that I can't even tell you how many long-distance phone calls at my home were interrupted when he was in Bosnia, calling me just to make sure that we were going to get this off the ground. And then to double check and make sure that this really was going to be acceptable, he made a point of contacting Colonel DeKemper, and at that point, Colonel DeKemper was the ROTC teacher down at Paradise Valley or Peoria High School. And he drove up here at a board meeting, and we were able to convince our board. It didn't take a whole lot because this whole idea of students working together and representing this high school and this community was something that that board was very proud to do. The other thing that I always have to tease Colonel Peoples about is that at my last, one of my last opportunities of being principal, the unit was going to be named after me. And of course I shed big tears, crying because it was such a, emotional time for me. And then the next day, Colonel Peoples came into my office and he said, we have one little hiccup. In order to name a unit after someone, that individual has to be dead. That was not an option that I was going to follow. So instead, he came up with Plan B, and honestly, I think that Plan B really is the best of all worlds. To be able to have academics recognized, which is one of the real reasons why this unit is so strong. You all are so different. Your program is so different than any of the other units nationwide. We focus on academics. It's not an elective. It's not just PE credit. We have all sorts of academic credits tied into this. And For that, I really want to thank both Colonel Peoples and Colonel DeKimber for following through on that. It's really made a significant difference. And cadets, congratulations and thank you all very much, and keep up the good work.
The Outstanding Cadet Ribbon is presented by Colonel Peoples. This ribbon is presented to a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior cadet. The recipient from each class must be of high moral character, demonstrate positive personal attributes, display outstanding military potential, and attain academic and military excellence. This ribbon is presented to cadets: freshman Toby Bittner, sophomore Alicia Pastana, junior Krista Hamley, and senior Veronica Norcas.
I need to be in the middle. Let me get in the middle. I'm the middle man. Thank you.
The PHS AFJROTC Top Cadet Award is presented by Lieutenant Colonel DeKemper. This award is our highest local award. It is presented to the cadet who has achieved the most across a variety of areas. This cadet has excellent grades, served as a cadet leader, and exemplifies what it means to be a true leader. This year, we have 2 cadets who went well above and beyond. This award is presented to cadets Veronica Marcus and Rafael Temple.
Is there nobody shorter than me in program?
Especially girls.
Yeah, that's right. They just tower over. I can't say enough about these 2 young ladies. They have been our commanders in the fall and the spring, and I will tell you that we have never had 2 seniors work harder till the end of the year than we've had these 2. And I want to also congratulate Henry Villani and Brian Krasnowski, 4 seniors in Sal this year. Second semester seniors, boy, they just got a lot on their mind, and they are everywhere but here. But these 4, more than any, have just done a fantastic job, so thank you.
The next award is the Certificates of Completion presented by Colonel Peoples.
Actually, I'm going to step in.
Colonel DeKemper. This certificate of completion is presented to all cadets who are completing their 3rd year in the AFJROTC program. This year's recipients are Kaiser Anderson, Scott Blake, Allison Emmons, David Fozzie, Jeremy Fleming, Richie Gamby, Corbin Hall, Krista Hamlin, Jackson Haslam, Claire Belusnik, Ryan Spangler, and Carter Choate.
Okay, we're now coming to the end. Thank goodness, I know. We're ready to go to Denny's to eat. This is a crazy tradition that I started a long time ago. And first of all, they're awarding of Colonel's coins, is what we call them. This year I've decided to give it to the fourth-year cadets I have. Will Henry Valani please come forward? And then for the commanders and vice commanders this year, there is not a more special relationship that Colonel DeKemper and I have when we have high school students with their offices right next to ours. We see them daily, multiple times. How many high school students have offices with their instructors? So I'd like to first ask for Brian PrescottjROTC to come forward. My cadets that work with me and live with me learn I love birds and I love plants, okay? And this is a rather historic plant in that I got it from Miss Andy Mayer, who is the Superintendent of Education's secretary, and I got it from her 10 years ago. And it's been growing in my office, now all across the ceiling, but I decided to give this to PrescottjROTC here. I want you to, this one is alive.